This week on Big Red's Cooking, braised chicken with rice. Hi and welcome back to Big Red's Cooking. As always, I'm Big Red. So this week we're going to do a really simple one pot meal. You know, we're in the middle of the winter here now. Days are finally starting to get a little bit longer, but we're coming into that sort of colder part of the winter. And there's something about braises that work really well in winter time. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to sear off some chicken, and then we're going to cook it with vegetables and rice and a little bit of stock all in the one pan. Makes the cleanup a whole lot easier. And it's a really sort of versatile dish. You know, it lends itself to so many different options and things like that. But you know what, that's enough of me talking. Let's just jump over to the bench and we're going to dive in head first. So I've already got my oven turned on. I want to make sure that that's well preheated before I even get started. Alright, so I've actually set it to about 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So I just got some good old-fashioned, quarter chickens here. I'm actually going to take these, I'm going to separate them down. I prefer to work with smaller pieces. I think they'll cook much more evenly. You'll notice these bags are really wet. This is stuff that I vacuum sealed myself, and then I actually defrosted it under cold water, which is one of the most rapid and as well as one of the safest ways of doing that. So I'm just gonna, there's a if you work carefully, you can actually just sort of pop it right on out, and you'll get that natural separation down between your thigh and your drumstick. So we'll go ahead and turn our pan on, and I'm actually going to place these in to the cold pan, and what that's going to allow me to do is to render out a little bit more of the fat, and we'll get some really nice sort of skin as a result. So we're going to start with these. There's no need to, there's enough natural fat, and we don't want our pan up too high. I've got it on sort of a medium type of heat. So now, dealing with raw chicken, I'm just going to get rid of this right away. So I've given my whole area really good, nice and clean. I've got my wooden cutting board out here now. We're going to, while our chicken is, coming up to temperature and getting browned, I'm going to get the rest of my ingredients ready. Now I see it with my students all the time. You can see this onion is looking in pretty hard shape on the outside. It doesn't mean it's bad on the inside. Alright, so we can go ahead now. This one's looking a little bit bad on the inside, but it doesn't mean the whole thing is bad on the inside even. So in a situation like this, I'm not a big fan of wasting food, so I'll trim that away. That's going to end up in my compost, obviously, as I've heard me talk about my compost lots before. And I'm just, I don't even trim away the whole layer of this onion. This top part here is not so great, so I'm going to get rid of that. But whatever is looking good is still fine to use. There's no need to be throwing away that whole onion. I tell you, I've gotten really good at getting $1.50 value out of $1's worth of food. And so I'm doing things like that and just not wasting whatsoever. Now, I love onion, so that's just not going to be enough for me for this meal. So I'm going to grab another onion. And this one's looking a lot nicer. I'm just going to do a large dice with this, nothing fancy. I want some nice big pieces of onion. I'll just put that there. Now what I have a tendency of doing when I'm doing my prep work, so I always start prepping with my items that I'm going to be using first, and I can shift it along. That way I can take that off. I'm going to start with my carrot next. And we can see our chicken, notice that that oil has come out into the pan. And that's doing exactly what we want it to do. It's going to give us a nice crispier skin. It's going to help us to develop a bit of flavor. It makes it a whole lot easier for this to finish cooking in the oven. Look who's here. You've seen them eat raw veggies before. Carrot's no different. I'm sure they're going to want a little, they'll take a piece of carrot and they'll chew on that. Sit. Good girl. Alright, so let's have a little look at our chicken here. You can see how nice and golden brown that is. There's no need to put anything in that pan, just the chicken itself. A little salt and pepper right up on top of that. So again, nothing fancy with my carrot. I'm just going to do what we call a turn cut. And basically I'm just creating a whole bunch of little triangles, going back and forth. Some nice chunks. You know, I don't like overcooked carrot. I like something that's going to have a little bit of texture to it. But, you know, feel free to cut these however you like them. Alright, next we're going to get some mushrooms going here. So again, I'm going to, you know, one of the principles with cooking is that we really like to have things sort of similar size so that it promotes more even cooking. So all I'm doing with these mushrooms, I'm just trimming the bottom off and I'm going to split them right down through the center. Nothing more. So our chicken is looking nice and seasoned. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to pop this out. I'm just going to put it to the side. I don't even want to waste a dish, so I'm just going to use my lid. Just going to put that right up on top. I'm going to go ahead and throw my onion right down the bottom of this pan. And the nice thing about the way I do that chicken is there's actually more than enough oil in the bottom of this pan now, or fat, for my onions to be able to cook. So we shift our carrots here, shift those mushrooms, and I got space to be able to deal with my garlic. Now those onions are softened up a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and throw my carrots right on in. And again, just so I'm just doing a rough chop with my garlic here, nothing fancy. We'll go ahead and throw our mushrooms in here. Salt and pepper for our veggies. Get our garlic put in there. Now it's starting to look a little dry. All right, I want that nice sauteing. I don't want stuff sticking to the bottom. So I'm going to actually add a little bit of butter into this. You know, because really, is anything, you know, butter makes everything better. Let's just be honest. A little extra butter flavor down in there. And tomato for the doggos. Again, I'm just chunking these tomatoes up. I think tomato adds a lot of richness and a lot of depth of flavor to dishes. I don't think people use it enough. It doesn't have to be full tomato sauce. You can use this just like any other vegetable. All right, so now we're gonna add our rice. Now normally, I would always suggest rinsing our rice ahead of time. But because we're doing this more the pilaf style, we don't actually need to. I'm actually going to turn this off at this point. There's enough heat in there. Go ahead and throw our tomatoes in. You know, I didn't add them initially because I didn't want them completely falling apart on me. Make sure everything's all nice and well distributed. I got some of my Christmas stock here. It's well sealed. If you don't have any stock handy, you know, you can use water. I just, you know, a little bit of stock's going to go a lot in terms of flavor. I'm just going to turn this back on. I'm going to bring this to a simmer, and then we're going to go ahead and put our pieces of chicken in. We'll throw that right on into the oven. And these are bay leaves I actually dehydrated. I was able to find some nice fresh bay leaves, so I'm going to go ahead and throw a couple of those in, because I think, again, bay leaf, you know, a lot of people say there isn't a lot of flavor, and I don't think it really is, but there's something about a depthness of flavor that develops with the bay leaves. And I do think they're a really important ingredient for something like this. So we're just going to go ahead and lay our chicken pieces right up and on top of this. I'm going to go ahead and just pop this right on into the oven. Like I said, it's about 350. This is going to go in for about 25 to 30 minutes, basically until that rice is fully cooked. So we'll see you in a little while. Okay, so I still got about 5 minutes left on my timer, but I want to get a sense. And you know what? It's always easier to pop something back in the oven and let it cook a little longer than it is to undo it. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop this out. And the biggest thing I want to do is actually check the temperature, internal temperature for the chicken itself. So that's looking nice. So let's go ahead and get a temperature read on this chicken. Oh yeah, so that chicken is definitely done. Now that's fine. It's going to be so moist and juicy. There's actually a fair amount of liquid left into this. So what I'm going to do, let's check out our rice here. See how that rice is doing. It's pretty much done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pop this back in the oven with the lid off. I'm going to give it about 3 or 4 more minutes. Alright, so it's been a few more minutes. I'm going to pull this out here now. Oh yeah, look at that. Doesn't that just look wonderful? Oh, smells so good too. So you tell you what, I'm going to get a bowl of this served up for myself, or a plate of this served up for myself, and we'll move on over to the main counter here and we'll get this little taste. I'm really excited about this. It's going to be a great supper on a cold winter's night. Yummy. Oh, the aroma of this is just incredible. You know, there's something about just a simple braised piece of chicken that's just so fantastic. You know, it's a real comfort food. So let's go ahead and give this a little taste. I'm gonna start with a carrot. Perfectly cooked. Try a little bit of this rice. I guess we might as well go for the main thing, is a little bit of the chicken. So wonderful. It's a great way of developing a lot of flavor by browning that chicken first and caramelizing it. We're actually doing what's known as the Maillard reaction, which is the, you know, anyhow, I won't bother going into all details, but by taking it and browning it first, we're getting a little bit of flavor development, you know, and then we're going to finish it with that moist heat. So we're going to, you know, allow it to draw out all that extra little bit of moisture and make it a little bit richer and things like that. Great with, you know, thighs and legs and drumsticks and things like that. Now this will work just as well with chicken breast, but personally I'm not a big fan of chicken breasts. I just find them, you know, boring, to be honest. You know, it's a great way of using up some legs and thighs. And again, this is one of these really versatile dishes. You can add almost any vegetable you want in there for a little bit of flavor. Throw some fresh herbs into it, some dried herbs, whatever you want. And again, it's a great meal for a whole lot of people. You know, because if you want cook for 6, 8, 10 people, as long as you got a pan that's large enough, you can go ahead and do that very easily. Pop it in the oven. It's a nice one dish meal. Throw it in the center of the table. Everybody can have a little bit. It's just fantastic. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've learned a little something. I hope you're going to give this recipe a shot, and I do hope you're going to come back. Next week, I'm really excited about next week's video. It's one of my favorite things to make. You know, Valentine's Day is just around the corner. I'm gonna make a chocolate mousse. Really simple, just 3 ingredients, and this is one of these desserts that anybody can make. It really is almost a no-fail dessert. So I hope to see you back. Please go ahead and share this video. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button at the end if you haven't done so yet. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers. It'll make me really happy to be able to hit 100 subscribers. You know, so thanks for watching. Hope you're having some great food, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.